You and Molly want to light candles too, by the way? Did I mention that? How do you feel about that?
I'm okay with matches.
Okay. Turn to page 121. One of you, both of you, is going to read either this one or this one, up to you. And then we'll light first. Then we'll come over. Light the candle. Read first. Light, blessing in Hebrew and English. You can read it, chant it, however you would like to do the blessing. Looks great for me. Okay. Molly? Thank you for the light. Who's Caroline?
No.
Okay. And
I called
then, so we're going to do English reading first, then light the candles, then blessing, Hebrew and English. Okay, but this way no one else is coming into your space.
Good thing.
Okay?
Of course. She was nice.
Okay, good?
Yeah.
All right. Let me make sure. Okay, that looks good.
So I was going to also correct a little bit of my mood, so I apologize. Thank you. Well, I'm glad to see the different people.
All right. I'm going to get us going in just a moment. You ready? Phones are on?
Yep.
Jen, if you'll switch the camera over. There we go. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. We want to welcome you. It's so nice to see you as we get ready to say goodbye to this week now ending as we get ready to welcome Shabbat. So Shabbat Shalom. Makes me happy. It doesn't take a whole lot. We begin with words of welcome, page 128. Hinei ma tov u'manaim shevet achim gam yachad. And I want to welcome Molly and Caroline Slaughter. We are so glad that you are here with us. Molly has been teaching in our religious school for all 4 years, correct? Caroline, she's a senior at Tulane. Caroline just joined us this year as a freshman. We are so glad to have them both with us every Sunday morning, and we're very pleased to have them with us this evening as well. So page 128, we begin with Hinei ma tov u'manaim. We turn in our prayer books to page 120, 121. As we get ready to welcome this Sabbath day, we begin with the lighting of Shabbat candles. Again, I'm going to ask Molly and Caroline. We begin there on page 121.
O source of light and truth, creator of the eternal law of goodness, help us to find knowledge by which to live. Lead us to take the words which we shall speak into our hearts and our lives. Bless all who enter this sanctuary in need, all who bring the offerings of their hearts. May our worship lead us to acts of kindness, peace, and love. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu l'hadlik ner shel Shabbat. Blessed are you, Adonai our God, sovereign of the universe, who hallows us with mitzvot, commanding us to kindle the light of Shabbat.
Amen. We continue on page 123. If one of you will lift the Kiddush cup, we join together. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidishanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho v'ahava uvratzon imchilanu zikaron lemahaseh v'reishit ki hu yom techila lemikra kodesh zecher litziat Mitzrayim kivanu v'acharta Yotanu kidashta mikol amim v'shabbat kodshecha ve'ahava uvratzon inchaltanu baruch atah Adonai mekadesh hashabbat. Amen. We continue now on page 124. I'll put the words on the screen in a moment. In our Torah portion, we're reading about the creation of the very first sanctuary, the Mishkan, our holy place. Sanctuaries have been very important to us for a long, long time. And so at the top of page 124, we enter this sanctuary this evening, whether here in person or through our computers. We enter to welcome Shabbat. Within these walls, we sit surrounded by numberless generations. Our ancestors built the synagogue as a visible sign of God's presence in their midst. Throughout our long history and our endless wanderings, it has endured, a beacon of truth, love, and justice for all humanity. Its presence guided our ancestors to lives of righteousness, holding up to them a vision of their truest selves. Together, now we, in our turn, come into this sanctuary to affirm the sacredness of our lives. May we enter this place in peace. May holiness wrap around us as we cross its threshold. Weariness, doubt, the flaws within our human hearts, the harshness of the weak, let these drop away at the door. In the brightness of Shabbat, let peace settle upon us as we live our hearts in prayer. Page 130. Come, let us sing joyously to Adonai. Raise a shout for our rock and deliverer. Let us come into God's presence with praise. Let us raise a shout for God in song. In that spirit, we turn to page 138 as we join in Lecha Dodi.
Lecha lecha dodi, likra likra kala, b'nei b'nei Shabbat nekavela. Lecha lecha dodi, likra likra kala, b'nei b'nei Shabbat nekavela. La 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 lecha dodi, likra likra kala, b'nei b'nei Shabbat nekavela. Lecha lecha dodi, likra likra kala, b'nei b'nei Shabbat nekavela. Shamor b'zachor b'dibur echad, Shianu El Hayuchad Adonai Echad U'Shemo Echad L'Shem Tiferet Meliki La 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 Lechado Di Likra Likra Kala B'nei B'nei Shabbat Nekabela Lecha Lechado Di Likra Likra Kala B'nei B'nei Shabbat Nekabela Likrat Shabbat Lechu B'neilcha Ki Mikor Ha'aracha Merosh Mekedem Mesucha Zov Ma'aseh Machshava Tila La 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 Lechado Di Likra Likra Kala B'nei B'nei Shabbat Nekabela Lecha Lechado Di Likra Likra Kala B'nei B'nei Shabbat Nekabela Itoreri Kiva Ore Kumi Ori Uri Uri Shir Daberi Kavod Adonai Allah Yikti La 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 Lechado Di Likra Likra Kala B'nei B'nei Shabbat Nekabela Lecha Lechado Di Likra Likra Kala B'nei B'nei Shabbat Nekabela Ohi v'shalom ateret bala Gam lesimcha u'etzola Toch emunei am segula Boi kala La 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 Adodi Likra Likra Kala B'nei B'nei Shabbat Nekabela Lecha Lechado Di Likra Likra Kala B'nei B'nei Shabbat Nekabela Lechado Di Likra Likra Kala B'nei B'nei Shabbat Nekabela Lecha Lechado Di Likra Likra Kala B'nei B'nei Shabbat Nekabela.
We turn now to page 264 and we rise for the call to worship, the Baruch Hu. Please rise. On page 265, our prayer for creation, we join together, roll into dark, roll into night, night becomes day, day turns to night, roll into dark.
Roll into dark, roll into light, night becomes day, day turns to night. Roll into dark, roll into light, night becomes day, day turns to night. Borei into light, night becomes day, day turns to night.
We continue on page 266. I'll put the words up on the screen for those who are following along at home as we read responsively in the English on page 266. A little bigger. In each age, we receive and transmit Torah. At each moment, we are addressed by the world together. In each age, we are challenged by our ancient teaching. At each moment, we stand face to face with truth. In each age, we add our wisdom to that which has gone before. At each moment, the knowing heart is filled with wonder.
In each age, the children of Torah become its builders and seek to set the world firm on a foundation of truth.
Baruch atah Adonai ohev amo Yisrael. We join together in the words of the Shema. Please be seated.
And thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, with all thy soul, and with all thy might. And these words which I command you on this day shall be upon thy heart, shall be upon thy heart. And thou shalt teach them diligently unto thy children. Thou shalt speak of them when thou sittest in thy house, when thou walkest by the way, and when thou liest down, and when thou risest up, and when thou risest up. Thou shalt bind them for a sign upon thy hand, and they shall be for frontlets between thine eyes, and thou shalt write them on the doorposts of thy house, and upon thy gates, and upon thy gates. Ye may remember and do all of my commandments, and be holy unto your God.
We continue on page 269. Again, we read responsively into English. We worship the power that unites the universe, a promise of harmony for all together. Yet that oneness eludes our grasp as imperfection and evil abound. Before our eyes, there's a vision of perfection, order, and goodness. There is evil enough to break the heart. There is good enough to exalt the soul. When will redemption come? When we grant everyone what we claim for ourselves. Long ago, we escaped the tyranny of Egypt. Our people saw the power of the Most High. We learned God's presence redeems time and event. So we celebrate this power that makes for freedom. Page 270, we join together in our song of freedom, Micha Mocha. Page 271, our Hashkivenu prayers. We ask God to keep an eye on us as we lie down this night. We pray that we wake up renewed to life. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom, v'ha'amidenu shomrenu l'chaim, ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha. Page 271, let's join together in the English. Give us a place to rest, O God. Shelter us in the long, soft evening shadows of your truth. Your true protection and safety. In your presence we find love and acceptance. Watch over us as we go forth. Prepare for us as we return. Spread over us your shelter of peace, over all we love, over our Jerusalem and yours. Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukat shalom, aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael, ve'al Yerushalayim. Page 272, we continue with Vishamru, our covenant of Shabbat.
Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat, Lazot et HaShabbat, Ledorotam berit olam. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat, Lazot et HaShabbat, Ledorotam berit olam. Beini ubein b'nei Yisrael, oti le'olam, oti le'olam. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat, lazot et HaShabbat, ledorotam berit olam. Ki sheshet yomim asa Adonai et hashamayim ve'et haaretz. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et hashabbat, lasot et hashabbat, ledorotam berit olam. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et hashabbat, lasot et hashabbat, ledorotam berit olam.
On page 273, we find the beginning of the Amidah as we ask God to open our lips and our mouths that we may declare God's glory and praise. I invite you to please rise as we join in Adonai Sefatai, page 273.
Svatai tifta, ananana ufi yagi tehilateha, ananana Adonai, ananana svatai tifta. Na ufi yagi tehilateha, ananana Adonai, ananana svatai tifta, ananana ufi yagi tehilateha.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, Bekonei Hakol, וזוכר חסדי אהבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו ואהבה. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם בעזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיה כל אתה, רב להושיע. מכלכל חיים וחסד, מחיה הכל ברחמים רבים. סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומיתו מלך ממיט ומחיה, ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה לחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיה הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום ילדוך סלע. ברוך אתה אדוני, האל הקדוש. We may all be seated. We continue on page 278. In the middle of the page, we read together in the English, may these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day. And may we all live in such a way that this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh ha-Shabbat. Page 279. V'tzei Adonai Eloheinu b'amacha Yisrael. U'tfilatam b'ahavat tekabel. Be gracious, Adonai, our God, to your people Israel, and receive our prayers with love. O may our worship always be acceptable to you. Fill us with the knowledge that you are near to all who seek you in truth. Let our eyes behold your presence in our midst, in the midst of our people in Zion. Blessed is Adonai, whose presence renews Zion. Baruch atah Adonai, hamachazir shechinato letzion. Page 281, we read responsively in the English, our prayer for giving thanks. For the good in us which calls us to a better life, we give thanks together. For the strength to improve the world with our hearts and our hands, we offer praise. For the desire in us which leads us to work for peace, we are grateful. For life and nature, harmony and beauty, for the hope of tomorrow, all praise to the source of being. For all these things, O sovereign, let your name be forever praised and blessed. Together, O God, our Redeemer and Helper, let all who live affirm you and praise your name in truth. Blessed are you, Adonai. Your name is goodness, and you are worthy of thanksgiving. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha l'chana lehodot. On page 292, we join in our prayer for peace, Shalom Rav.
Shalom Rav al Yisrael amcha, tasim leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael amcha, tasim leolam. Ki ata melech hador, lechol
We take a few moments now for our own silent prayers.
Shalom bimroma, hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Shalom bimroma, hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Shalom bimroma, hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Oseh shalom bimroma, hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Oseh shalom bimroma, hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Oseh shalom bimroma, hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael.
We turn now in our prayer books to page 371. There we find our prayers for healing. As we gather together this Shabbat Eve, as we say goodbye to this week now ending, we give thanks for all of the blessings in our lives. We think now especially of the blessing of health. We think of members of our families, friends, and neighbors who, as this week comes to an end, find themselves in ill health and in need of healing. The prayers of our congregation go out especially this Shabbat on behalf of Dr. John Barron, Darrell Bronson, Edward Lefko, Howard Robinson, Gig St. Romain, and Joel Webb. And I ask if you have additional names that you would like to share. I invite you to say those out loud now. We think of all of those who are suffering from the coronavirus, all who could use some healing and wholeness in their lives. As we pray for refuah shlema, mehera, complete and speedy recovery, refuat nefesh, refuat guf, renewal of body, soul, and mind. As we join together in our Misha Berach prayer for healing, there in the middle of page 371.
Strength, who blessed the ones before. Help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Lisheberach imotenu mikor Abraham le'avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, a renewal of body, a renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
This is week number 2 now. In our Torah readings, we are focusing on the Mishkan, the tabernacle. Last week, we read, God said to Moses, instruct the people to make me a holy place so that I may dwell among them. As we began to discuss last week, the purpose of the Mishkan, of that tabernacle, was to create connections and to remind us that we're all in this together. Allow me to explain. The only way that tabernacle was going to get built was if everyone worked together. In last week's Torah portion, God said, all whose hearts so move them, that's who shall bring materials. And we're given that long list of materials to bring. But it's going to take a little bit from everyone. All the materials were to come from the people themselves. And then we read that everyone also gave of their time, their talents, their skills. Those who knew how to work with cloth worked with the cloth. And those who worked with metal and wood and stone, it's going to take the whole community coming together. Which reminds us it often takes an entire community to get things done. The building of the Mishkan, of that first tabernacle, helped to transform the people from a community of former slaves into the people of Israel, building on the feelings of the people coming together there at Mount Sinai and speaking in one voice as they accepted God's commandments. In many ways, our summer camps also have this ability to take individuals who come from lots of different places and to create one holy community altogether. For so many of our kids, Jacob's Camp welcomes people home and serves as a home for young Jews, whether you're from Louisiana or Arkansas or Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee, Florida, even Texas. The Mishkan brought people together to help make a community. But again, as we saw last week, the Mishkan was never intended to be a dwelling place or a palace just for God. But it was a place where the people of Israel could feel God's presence, even in the middle of the wilderness, even in the middle of nowhere. They knew they weren't alone. Similarly, our beautiful sanctuary helps us to connect with God. Now, in front of the ark is our Ner Tamid, our eternal light. This past Sunday morning, Molly and Caroline brought their students here inside the sanctuary, and we turned off all of the lights except one. We referred to our Ner Tamid as God's night light, because it reminds us that God is right here with us all the time, and that we are never alone. We are introduced to the Ner Tamid in this week's Torah portion. At the very beginning, we read, you shall further instruct the Israelites to bring you clear oil of beaten olives for lighting, for kindling lamps regularly, or lighting the Ner Tamid. Aaron and his son shall set the light up in the tent of meeting, outside the curtain, which is over the ark of the covenant, to burn from evening to morning before God. It shall be a dew from the Israelites for all time throughout the ages. Thus, in every Jewish sanctuary around the world, one can find a Ner Tamid, though few as pretty as this one, right there, hanging in front of the ark. It's a reminder, it's a symbol of God's presence right here in our midst. For our ancestors there at the Mishkan in the wilderness, it was more than just that, though. The lights were lit each day. Thus, it was a daily reminder not only of God's presence, but of our obligations, of our responsibilities, and of our service to God. God was counting on us. God needs us. The light doesn't get lit without us. Thus, the Ner Tamid connects us with God. As we read later in the portion, for there I will meet with you, and there I will speak with you, and there I will meet with the Israelites. It shall be sanctified by my presence. I will abide among the Israelites, and I will be their God. And they shall know that I, the Eternal, am their God, who brought them out of the land of Egypt, that I might abide among them. Ani Adonai Eloheihem. I am Adonai, their God. Third, our Torah portion also includes instructions and descriptions of the Kohanim, or the priests. The priests and the Levites were in charge of the Mishkan. They will help the people to connect with God. After constructing all of the various parts of the tabernacle and the tents of meeting, the people are also instructed to make the holy vestments of the priests themselves. These are those special robes and tunics and headdresses, chest pieces, and more that the priests would wear while doing their holy work in the service of God and community. Now, it's important to note as we read the instructions, the priests are part of the people. The Levites make up one of the 12 tribes. The priests are not holier than the rest of the people. They simply have special jobs and responsibilities on behalf of the people. The priests are to be role models and leaders, an example of service. Creating their holy vestments help the people to connect with the priests. The priests could not be priests without the help of the people. And there, on the shoulders of the holy vestments themselves, the people inscribe the names of the 12 tribes. A reminder for the priests not to become so full of themselves, and to remember that their positions were based on service, serving God by serving and helping the greater community. Thus, the people and the priests were reminded that we are all in this together. That's what I love about this part of the book of Exodus. The goal of the Mishkan and all of the little details that we read in last week's Torah portion and this week's Torah portion is to remind our ancestors and us still today that we are all connected, that we're all in this together. We're all in the same boat, that same tent of meeting in the middle of nowhere, looking to connect with God, with our leaders, and with each other. It is there in the Sinai wilderness that our people became Am Yisrael, the people of Israel, with a shared past and history, a shared path for today, and a shared hope for tomorrow. That is still the case today. We are all connected, no matter where we might be from, no matter how we practice our Judaism, no matter what type of music we prefer, we are all connected. We Jews are one people, serving the one and only God. And when we are attacked, as we saw in Coffeyville, Texas, and throughout the United States, as we witness this rise in anti-Semitism, then we are all attacked. We are all in this together. And when someone blames Israel and makes ludicrous comments or accusations against Israel, then we feel it too, and we stand with Israel. We are all connected. We are all in this together. We are one people, with one God, with one love, with one heart. And that's the theme of the song that Molly and Caroline chose for the Shabbat. It is called One and Only and is written by Josh Nelson. In his introduction to the song, which he wrote in 2017, Josh writes, "I can't remember a time when our daily lives were filled with such division, when we found ourselves immersed in a global struggle for equality and justice. In these challenging days, it's important to remember that we are, quite simply, all made of the same stuff. The ideologies that stoke the fires of distress may seem hopelessly incendiary, but it's ultimately our universal humanity that will carry us forward. So open up your hearts to all the lost and lonely. We are all connected. We're all in this together. May the light of God's presence help us to connect to each other, to our community, to our obligations and responsibilities to one another, and to our one and only God." Now I invite Molly and Caroline to come back up.
If your God is my God and my God is everything, are we all part of one God? So let your God be my God and our God be everything. Oh, we'll all know we're all part of one God. So open up your heart to all the lost and lonely. Let no one be alone tonight before our one and only. Before our one and only. If your love is my love and my love is everything, are we all part of one love? So let your love be my love and our love be everything. Oh, we'll all know we're all part of one love. So open up your heart to all the lost and lonely. Let no one be alone tonight before our one and only. Before our one and only. If your heart is my heart and my heart is everything, are we all part of one heart? So let your heart be my heart and our heart be everything. Oh, we'll all know we're all part of one heart. So open up your heart to all the lost and lonely. Let no one be alone tonight before our one and only. Before our one and only.
We turn now in our prayer books to page 586, and we rise. לצאת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי ארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל עמונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. Please be seated. We continue on page 591. May we gain wisdom in our lives, overflowing like a river with understanding. Loved each of us for the peace we bring to others. May our deeds exceed our speech, and may we never lift up our hand, but to conquer fear and doubt and despair. Rise up like the sun, O God, over all humanity. Cause light to go forth over all the lands between the seas, and light up the universe with the joy of wholeness, of freedom, and of peace. V'nema v'haya Adonai lemelech al kol haaretz v'yom ahu yeh Adonai echad u'shemo echad. Page 596. When cherished ties are broken and the chain of love is shattered, only trust and the strength of faith can lighten the heaviness of the heart. At times, the pain of separation seems more than we can bear, but if we dwell too long on our loss, we embitter our hearts and harm ourselves and those about us. The psalmist said that in his affliction he learned the law of God. And in truth, grief is a great teacher when it sends us back to serve and bless the living. We learn how to counsel and comfort those who, like ourselves, are bowed with sorrow. We learn when to keep silence in their presence and when a word will assure them of our love and concern. Thus, even when they are gone, the departed are with us, moving us to live as in their higher moments they themselves wish to live. We remember them now, they live on in our hearts. They are an abiding blessing. We think of our loved ones whom death has recently taken from us as we mourn the loss of Charlie Kahn and Ann Friedman. And we are in Shloshim for Dr. Miles Herbert Friedlander, Ann Gibson, M.L. Levy-Stoyer. We think of those who died of this season in years past, those whom we've taken into our hearts with our own, as we lovingly recall the art sighting now of Teresa Abraham, Elise Mayer Bestoff, Sydney J. Bestoff, Penny Brown, Jan Cornsweat, Marilyn Weiss Davis, Melanie Pulitzer Feldman, Alvin Charles Fisher Sr., Charles W. Frank Sr., Mary Roos Haas, Edward Max Heller, Hannah Block Hirsch, Leslie Young Castle, Howard L. Leventhal, Dr. Leopold Leonard Levy, Hilbert Sampson Loeb, Leopold Loeb, Samuel Marcuse, Hermance Dreyfus Meyer, Leo Miller Sr., Leo Miller Jr., Muriel S. Ostro, Velma D. Prince, Edwina Hirsch Reisfeld, Jesse S. Rosenfeld Sr., Paul Rosenmeyer, Ethel R. Sternberg, Leo Weil, Louis A. Wheel, Arthur Weiss, Jerry Zachary, Janet Selig Wolf Zadok. Zichronam livracha, may their memories be an everlasting blessing. As we turn now to page 598 and rise as one community to recite the words of Kaddish Yatom. Together, Yitkadzal v'yitkadash shmei Rabbah, v'almad zivrach yerutzeh v'yamlich malchutzeh, v'chayechon v'yomechon, v'chayei d'chol Beit Yisrael, v'agala v'zman kariv v'imru. Amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mefarach le'olam ulamei almaya, Yitvarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal, shmei dekudisha b'richu. Le'ela min kol b'rchatza v'shirata, tush b'chatza v'nechamata, da'amiran b'alma v'yimru. Amen. Yehi Shlomo Rabba min Shemaya v'chayim, Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. May the source of peace and peace to all who mourn, comfort to all who are bereaved, as together we say, Amen. May please be seated. We are so glad that everyone could join us for this special camp-inspired Shabbat. A special thank you to Caroline and to Molly. We are so glad that you could be with us, not only this evening to help lead us in worship, but also we appreciate the way that you are role models for our kids, our students. We love seeing you here every Sunday morning with our Chavara at Sinai students. Thank you guys for all that you do. As we look at our bima, our flowers for this Shabbat were lovingly sponsored by Avery and Jay Cornsweat in memory of Jan Cornsweat, by Mary and David Loeb. It's nice to have you in person. In memory of Hilbert Sampson Loeb. A reminder of a few things coming up. Tomorrow morning, our services and Torah study will be online, 9:15 Torah study, 10:30 is our Shabbat morning service. All are welcome to join us on Zoom, on the website, and on Facebook. Our Temple Sinai Sisterhood, we're bringing back the attic sale this summer. It'll be in June, Sunday, June 12th, Monday, June 13th. They are already hard at work. Drop-off times, if you have things that you would like to bring, you may bring them to Temple on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays between 9 and 2. But before you bring them, please check the list of items that we're looking for. If what you have in mind is on the list, we would love for you to bring it. If it's not on the list, we'd prefer for you not to bring it. If you have any questions, you can check with our sisterhood. They'll be happy to give you more information. Also exciting, I hope that everyone has seen the invitations are going out. We're very excited about our spring garden party gala, our annual gala. It's going to be a little different this year. It's going to be on Saturday, April 2nd. Tickets are now available for purchase. We are accepting raffle and auction items. It's going to be a wonderful occasion. God willing, we're going to come together outside at Longview Gardens. It'll be a wonderful afternoon and evening. Again, that is Saturday, April 2nd. A reminder that on Wednesday evenings, we continue with our Wednesday Night Live adult education class. This week, we will continue our discussion of modern issues and modern beliefs. Again, that is this Wednesday evening. We are going to conclude our service this evening with the song that we just heard called One and Only. The chorus goes, "Open up your hearts to all the lost and lonely. Let no one be alone tonight before our one and only, before our one and only." Let's join with Caroline and Molly in the one and only.
And just another note, each verse is exactly the same and only one word changes. So the first time we say, "If your God is my God," the second time we say, "If your love is our love," and the third time you say, "If your heart." So totally join us if you feel like you have it.
If your God is my God and my God is everything, aren't we all a part of one God? So let your God be my God and our God be everything. Oh, we'll all know we're all part of one God. So open
Please rise. Adonai Oz La'amo Yitzei. May God grant strength to our people. Adonai Yivarech et Amo v'Shalom. May God bless us, our families, our congregation, our community, our country, and all those who serve and protect it. May God bless the land and people of Israel and all the world with the blessing of Sabbath peace. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
And again, thank you to Molly and Caroline. Yishar Koach. For those who are online, we welcome you to go ahead and unmute, and we can wish you a Shabbat Shalom as well. Terry and Mary, I see you there. Janice and Mike, Shabbat Shalom. Oh, I see Ellen. We hope you're feeling better. And Max, too. Oh, my goodness. Good to see you both. Shabbat Shalom, Elizabeth.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, Judy. Shabbat Shalom, Jane and Billy. We miss seeing you guys.
Shabbat Shalom,
John,
Rabbi.
it's really good to see you sitting there right next to Doris at home. That makes
Shabbat
us feel
shalom. Thank you.
We're so glad you look great, John.
Shabbat
thank
Shalom,
you.
Kurt and Amy.
Shabbat shalom.
John. I see you, Avery and Jay. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom.
Yes, John. Yeah. Aaron.
Shabbat Shalom to Molly and Caroline's family. Shabbat Shalom to Ruth. And if you want to turn on your camera, they're coming over here where they can see you. I also wanted you to see the comments. Okay, right?
Shabbat shalom.
Great job, girls. You're amazing.
Good
job, girls. We love you.
Parents.
Great job.
Thanks so much, y'all.
Thank you. Shabbat shalom.
Shalom.
Families, I go. I'm ready.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, Rabbi.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Bye.